regulations have changed since the effective date of the existing regulations involved which are relevant to the amendment. There was no evidence that there has been any change of circumstances since the creation of the coastal preserve zoning and the adoption of the town's comprehensive land use plan and land use maps that could be relevant to the current request for comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning. Number 4, land use compatibility. Whether and to the extent to which the proposal would result in any incompatible land uses, considering the type and location of uses involved. At the time of the application, the town's planner made a preliminary assessment of the proposed comprehensive plan amendment and rezoning and made a preliminary assessment of compatibility and recognized that there would be a reduction in coastal preserve. However, since this preliminary assessment, the evidence presented by the residents of the town clearly identified that changing the zoning and land use on this property now within the coastal preserve would open the door and allow for rezoning of similar situated lands in the coastal preserve to some uses which would be inconsistent with the coastal plan element, Chapter 5 of the town's comprehensive plan. Number 5, adequate public facilities. Whether and to the extent of which the proposal would result in demands on public facilities and services exceeding the capacity of which facilities and services existing or programmed, including transportation, water and wastewater services, solid waste disposal, drainage, recreation, education, emergency services, and similar necessary facilities and services. There appears to be a lack of credible evidence presented by the applicant regarding this criteria, and therefore the applicant did not sustain their burden of proof compliance with this criteria. Number 6, natural environment. Whether and to the extent of which the proposal would result in adverse impacts on the natural environment, including consideration of wetlands, protection, preservation of groundwater, aquifer, wildlife habitats, vegetative commodities, and wellfield protection. The overwhelming testimony by the concerned residents clearly identified the potential adverse impacts that a commercial development on the banks of the Indian River Lagoon will have on the quality of the Indian River Lagoon. Years ago, Malabar leaders established a coastal preserve zoning area to conserve the strip of land east of US 1 abutting the Indian River Lagoon. Uses are limited to non-commercial piers, boat slips, and docks. This vision clearly identified the need to retain and conserve coastal areas of the town. As one speaker put it, defacing and destroying what is an essential spirit of immeasurable value to the residents of the rural community here. Number 7, economic effects. Whether and to the extent to which the proposal would adversely affect the property values in the area or the general welfare. There was ample testimony that such a land use and zoning change would adversely affect the general welfare of the town by eliminating a parcel of land from the coastal preserve and protection. Number 8, orderly development. Whether the proposal would result in an orderly and compatible land use pattern. Any negative effects on such pattern shall be identified. The legitimate concerns of the residents established that the changing of the land use and zoning for this parcel could lead to a domino effect and the proliferation of similar requests, which could lead to the complete eradication of the town's coastal preserve zoning, contrary to the town's comprehensive land use plan. Such a potential can only be characterized as creating negative effects. by eliminating the coastal preserve. Number 9, public interest enabling act. Whether the proposal would be in conflict with the public interest and whether it is in harmony with the purpose of interest of this ordinance and its enabling legislation. With regard to this consideration, we cannot ignore the ordinance language for which the town charter, including the preamble, provisions of the ordinance creating the town's comprehensive land use plan, chapter 5, coastal management element, and the town's land development regulations, especially section 1-3.1. With the potential of losing coastal preserve land, the public interests are in jeopardy, and the proposal would be in conflict with the public interest in preserving coastal properties. A petition in opposition of the request was signed by over 450 residents of the town expressing their concerns with this request. And here's the counting. While there was testimony regarding how these applicants in their current business operation have provided a benefit to the town, those matters were not relevant to the issues before the town council and should not have been a consideration. Number 10, other matters. Other matters which the Planning and Zoning Board may deem appropriate. The Planning and Zoning Board identified at their hearing many of the issues identified in this veto. These sentiments were emphasized by the Planning and Zoning Chair, Wayne Revere, at both public hearings before the Town Council. For these reasons stated above, I withhold my approval of ordinance number 2019-08 and veto the same. Sincerely, Patrick T. Riley, Mayor, Town of Malabar. My opening statement was all my ammunition was all put in this. I wanted bullets and the statement, but it got combined. So the everything's in one veto. So I have two more things I want to bring up. An email was sent to council from Rita and Lynn Slory, longtime residents of the town, relating to the many workshops and council meetings that were held to create the coastal preserve zoning. Dr. Diane Reel and other professors from Florida Institute of Technology assisted the town in creating the ordinances. This team of scientists created the Marine Resource Council in 1983. So this happened before 1983. The petition with 485 Malabar residents opposing this ordinance represents 21% of our town with 20,316 voters. This speaks volumes to me, as it should do. We'll go through the speakers. First is George Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Town council members and residents, George Foster, 1205 Melville Road. I'm a volunteer member of the Planning and Zoning Board, but I'm here tonight as a private citizen to express my thoughts, which are in support of Stuart and Nancy Morton's wish to rezone and develop the property. One thing we all have here tonight in common is we all love our town of Malabar and we want to protect it. And the people that we trust every day to protect our town and to tend to every detail of our operation are our town staff, our administrator, our professional members like our engineer, the planner, the fire chief, the public works director. And all of these dedicated individuals have told us numerous times that they struggle to find the funding to provide for their basic obligations and commitments, and to provide the services to our residents, including work on Malabar's historical drainage problems. We have decided as a town, the planners, the council, the staff, that we would seek and allow quality businesses and retailers to build and develop on our 3 arterial corridors, US 1, Malabar, and Babcock. It's our business community that pays a very large portion of the taxes and the revenues that go to our town. A typical business often pays 20 times or more to the town than an average residential homeowner. So they're a big part of our resource base, and they have, please. Many of us here are property owners and small business owners, and we feel we should be able to improve and expand our properties and businesses as we feel the need and desire within the limits of our town. Our town administrators, the professional people, are all in agreement that this expansion and zone change is within the limits established of this town. And I understand the current zoning of this parcel by the Yellow Dog Cafe happened over 40 years ago. And it was meaningful then. It's certainly a meaningful decision back in those days. A lot has changed in 40 years. Our town has changed. This area has changed. Everything has changed in 40 years. But there are other issues and other considerations that we need to be aware of, like the needs of our town, which have been expressed by our town and staff many times.
1 minute. Got 1 minute.
Okay. This is exactly the type of quality road that we have been asking for. The advantages to this development are many. The fabulous place this development will provide a lot of value to Malabar because of the beauty and being a preferred destination, a waterfront experience, provide jobs, payroll revenue to the town, and there are very few disadvantages to this development. There's already water and sewer on the site provided by the town of Malabar, and they provide valet parking for all of their guests. And the coastal impact will be closely monitored by several government agencies. The town of Malabar, okay. The town of Malabar has a strong town council form of government, and our town council has voted already twice to support the zoning change and expansion. Thank you, council. Thank you.
Liz Ritter.
Liz Ritter, 2060 Orange Avenue. I have to defer. I'd say a lot of our professionals and our employees here don't live in the town. So our town should be governed by our citizens, and you are all citizens. So I hope you listen to the citizens. We're not denying the Yellow Dog anything for their current business. We're not denying them anything for the use of their land in the zoning that they purchased it in. The problem is they are not meeting the required setbacks, not meeting the required minimum width. By the time they get the setbacks, they are at a negative build area. So I don't understand how you can build a business in a negative setback, negative area. So They knew what the property was zoned when they bought it. There's 90 other parcels. I believe there was only 1 or 2 people here who bought the land before that zoning went into effect. So everybody who bought that property, most of them, Grant not being one, who was before that time, agrees that it's coastal preserve. And in coastal preserve, they don't allow this type of building. It's meant only for private docks and boat use, no buildings on the land. So I don't know how you can open up a can of worms with 90 other people who probably do have the property size that would be required to do something on it. Once that door is open, it's open. This door would open it, and there would still not be the availability to build. There's no room there. So the uses are for non-commercial piers, boat slips, and docks. That's CP zoning. And I have not found anybody that I've talked to that even that owns CP zoning that really wants it changed. And there are people who have quite a bit of land that could build on it if it gets changed. So I'd say we're not denying anybody their rights for the way that they bought the property. They knew when they bought it was CP, and they know what the uses are. Thank you.
Okay, Deborah Ball.
Deborah Ball, 1190 South US Highway 1. I've spoken at every meeting so far. The planning and zoning meeting on July 24, the town hall meetings on August 19, September 23rd, and as you know, even though the planning and zoning members were against the change by 4 to 1 and presented that negative recommendation to council, the zoning change was approved. As I said last time, the facts have not changed. There is a parking problem. Patrons have to park across the street, whether via valet or not. That also impacts the small neighborhood. The subject property isn't very large. As Liz pointed out, it doesn't meet the requirements for square footage, nor the setbacks make it awkward to build in a negative situation. Increased traffic. Back on August 19th, looking at my notes of Stuart's comments, he suggested there could be as many as 12 rooms, although he said that there would probably be less. That would probably mean another 6 cars on a usual basis. There are a lot of cars there. After the restaurant patrons were unfortunately killed some time ago, the traffic warning lights were installed, and then a painted crosswalk was added. And as I pointed out before, not everyone that crosses the road bothers to push the button to start the lights. Not every driver slows down there. And some of the drivers who have stopped for the lights have been really properly stopped. My husband and I lived in the Riverview homes for about 25 years, from late 84 to 09, when we then just moved down the street. And we bought some other houses while we were there. We still own 4 houses there. It's a very small neighborhood. We've never been there. There's only 2 cul-de-sacs and a total of only 13 homes. So in addition to our 4, there are 9 other neighbors. And during the planning and zoning meeting of that 9, 2 were out of town and 1 contacted all the board members by email negatively. And then 5 others attended. So there's a large representation from the owners of homes at Riverview homes. Following that time, the boarders decided to obstruct the views of the river of the homeowners by planting a large number of trees. I believe that coastal preservation zone is good for Malabar. Many people moved here just because of the rural environment. Malabar is really unique with its river views and commercial-free waterfront. I don't know if you can see this picture, but there is a house being built on the riverfront in Melbourne. You can go there. It's north of University. It's on Riverside. And the piece of property is quite small and somewhat eroded, and you could have something that looks like, I don't know, looks like an elevator shaft being right there. It's not too attractive. Anyway, inside, the previous meetings, many members, many friends of the board spoke on their behalf. And I would ask the council members disregard any of the comments from anyone who does not live in or own property in the town of Malabar. Council decisions should not be swayed by cheerleaders who have no skin in the game.
Holly Oath.
My name is Holly Lewis, and I live at 2365 Corner Road. I wanted to come up and publicly thank you, Mayor, for vetoing this resolution. I know that we've not always been in agreement, and I just wanted to say that it was really frightening to me that we were looking at whether people were nice instead of whether the property actually met the physical minimum requirements for construction, for setback, for zoning, and yet we totally disregarded what the Marine Resource Council people had to say, saying, I don't read that. I was very impressed with your response, and I've read it at least twice. Thank you very, very much for representing the majority of the constituents that I speak to.
And last is Colleen Milne.
Calling on 1285 Hall Road, Malabar. I'm going to make this short. I just wanted to state that myself and the 485 Malabar residents who signed the petition do support the mayor's veto.
Amen.
All right, I'll bring up the council for discussion.
I have a few points, if you don't mind. My wife and I moved here for the rural atmosphere of this town. We've got 3 acres on Ash Road. Over a couple of years, we've had a bunch of chickens, and right now I think we've got 5 geese, either a coyote or a bobcat or either one of my geese here today, and a bunch of the ducks. But I do think that the rural quality of life here in Malabar is subject to interpretation to a point. I looked it up, and rural, as defined, is property outside of town or property that is used mainly for agricultural purpose of some farm animals. Okay, there's quite a few areas in this town. I've driven through Rocky Point. I don't think I've seen a pig or a cow when you live in it. You know. There's
Is that discussion with council?
I may be wrong there. Colleen and Jeff, Holly, they represent people that really do have livestock and live that kind of lifestyle. So I'd like to say that I can't argue with your second and third thing about this. I would like to say that even though there is a need for commercial development, I don't think I ever said that that was my purpose for supporting the change in zoning. Okay? I do acknowledge that several issues had to be resolved. The 2 most important ones that I kept hearing were the lot size and the setback. The lot size I was told would be resolved with the unity of title. So I kind of considered that was a non-issue. The setback, granted, would have to be worked upon. Whether it could be resolved or not, I don't know. Okay? But I think that everything can be resolved with enough work. All right? The coastal preserve zoning was created over 40 years ago. And I would agree with George that a lot has changed since then. We've changed a whole bunch of zoning since then. We have granted quite a few variances to our codes since then. The other thing I heard, and I think the most concerning to everybody, is the domino effect, okay? And I read it here a couple of times and said that there was evidence presented to the domino effect. I don't know how you present evidence to a speculation of what might happen in the future. What I did see evidence of was against the domino effect. In fact, this is one parcel amongst, I think, 90. It's 0.31 acres. It is served by water and sewer from Palm Bay. No other parcel of land meets that criteria. Most of the parcels are so small that I don't think they could put septic on them if they wanted to. I don't know if Brevard County allows septic on the east side of Highway 1. So that, by its very definition, means that no other parcel of land meets this same criteria of this 0.31 acres, okay? And so in my mind, you could grant this exception, this change in zoning to the coastal preserve, and not worry about the other 90 parcels following suit. I see you shaking your head, but that's the way I saw it, okay? All right? The two things that were addressed were the parking, okay, and the effects of solid waste and such, which is dissolved by the water and sewer. Yellow Dog uses valet parking. I've eaten there now 5 times in the 4 years I've been here, and I've never done anything but pull up and have somebody park my car. I go up and down Highway 1 several times a week. I did this morning. You rarely see anybody walking across that street. So I think that their valet parking would resolve any traffic problems. Okay? And when I read here, it said that they did not address the adverse effects. Well, except for those 2 that were brought up, and they did address them, I think it's up to the town to present any adverse effects that we have under fear of, and to give them the opportunity to address those, okay? The only environmental argument I heard was about the stormwater runoff. And although that's a concern, I think that just about anything along Highway 1, stormwater runoff goes directly into the Indian River Lagoon. I don't think I'm wrong there. I know we don't pump it back up westward to go into the Turkey Creek, okay? So I think this 0.31s that would introduce a little bit more runoff. Are we going to stop any more development along Highway 1? About the runoff? Yes.
That was the plan.
Yeah, that was the plan. Okay. All right. Okay. So far, what I read was the loss of the 0.31 acres of the CP was considered the adverse effects economically. And I think there would be quite a good positive effects economically to this proposal that Stuart and Nancy made. Okay. Well, I agree that a petition signed by, I thought it was 450 restaurants, 482. Okay, so it represents 20% of the town's population. And my hat's off to Colleen for doing this. It takes work to do that kind of stuff. But we don't know how many signatures of homeowners or registered voters, a normal requirement, or how many residents refuse to sign the petition. think that the benefit that the applicants in closing,
Hey, Pat, you gotta let me stop, let him finish his thoughts.
Okay.
So they don't,
I didn't,
they're
I
interrupted.
tuned them out.
all right, okay.
Just please let him finish his thoughts, okay? I mean, just let,
And I would like to say that to say that the benefit that the applicant's current business operation provides to the town is not relevant to their request. I think it is. How do we judge anybody that requests a zoning change or a variance to a code? You know, a lot has to do with the purpose of their request, what they're going to do with it, and how much we trust them as a resident to be good at their work.
Excuse me, we need to keep it at the...
It's part of it. All right, so all I'm saying is that for the reasons that I just stated there, which were neither because I'm a friend of Stuart Nancy's nor because I believe business takes preference over the needs of this town. I don't support the veto. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I probably echo a lot of things that Dan said, so I won't do that. I will have to voice objection to the domino theory. I think that was disproved in the early 70s. This is a unique piece of property. We're not getting rid of coastal preservation. Okay, this is one piece of property that we're talking about. The other issue is, anytime you take action, there are unintended consequences. Unintended consequences, in this case, I think, can result in Malabar losing control over all of that piece of property. What can be built there being decided by Palm Bay, not by Malabar residents. And by the way, Malabar won't get any tax revenue, even the revenue it's getting from the Yellow Dog at this point. And I think that's a very likely scenario. You can have opinions about whether, what lawsuits will prevail. Again, I think that's a very likely scenario. If it comes up for a vote, I will not vote to allow, that land to leave Malabar, but it doesn't matter if a lawsuit prevails. So I think we need to be very careful about the unintended consequences of any action that we take. It doesn't always go as you plan. We need to take that into account in making a decision on vote.
Any other discussion?
Okay, I've weighed in on this from the very beginning. As many of you know, since I have like land and close proximity land, I will have to recuse myself from the vote, but I'm able to talk on it. This part of land that's the waterfront in the town of Malabar was very unique. There were buildings on that side of the land in the 50s. My parents bought a restaurant that was on that side in the 50s. And US 1 held the coastline all the way down. Well, US 1 was a 2-lane road, and they widened that road. And they didn't treat my parents very nice. What did they do? They widened the road, bought only what they needed, and destroyed their business. So for years, I've been paying taxes on that piece of land because it fell to me. I didn't buy it after the fact, but in my family, it has become mine. I spun off Malabar Mariners Association, which is a boating club that utilizes that waterfront in the way it's intended to be used. I feel that when the town fathers, this board, in the 70s, set up that zoning, they made it unique in one way. They put one word there, preservation. They didn't call it coastal zoning, they called it coastal preservation. Their intent was to preserve that piece of property into perpetuity.
Yes.
That was their intent. For us, and that's what I'm saying, for us to go against that, how can we do that? That means anything, there's nothing set in concrete. Nothing. They went out of their way to make that a preserve. And we're just gonna throw it all away with one vote. And I'm sorry I don't have a vote on this, but, you know, that's my position on it, and that's what I see. Thank you.
I concur with what Grant has to say on the issue. I think we need to preserve the coastal preserve. You know, I've heard all the input regarding the zoning change, considered all the information from P&Z, the applicant, his representative, staff, my constituents, and at this point, you know, I stand strong on the no vote.
Any other discussion?
I guess that'll leave me, the only one left. And I think my advice to the council on this is in the future, because quite frankly, term limit's coming up in the last 2 meetings of this term. I will, well, we did call off one meeting, the other one I'll be in Tennessee. So for a while, I won't be sitting up here, but my suggestion is be aware of the potential emotional responses to anything that is done. And be sure that the people know exactly all of the details and are well informed. And I think there's been a lot of information and misinformation both on here. Now what Danny and George said, I concur with that. But I think it can be approached in a better way. So, and I think the mayor, listening to the detail of his veto, has given that a lot of thought too.
Any other discussion?
Did he say emotional?
Okay, so my closing statement is that I want to address Danny just one thing. The council did vote in favor of rezoning RLC to CG for US 1 Motorsports. That was on the river. And to go from RLC to CG is only one step in the process. And also, it already had the C word, commercial, it's part of LLC. But to go from CP to CG is a step of 5 levels of zoning uses. And I'm just not willing to do that.
I understand that. Just since you brought that up, how many meetings did it take for Route 1 Motorsports to get theirs? I heard it was quite a struggle just to go that one little bit. And they have been a huge benefit to this town.
And I support, since I've been on P&Z and council, I support controlled commercial development along US 1, Malabar Road, and Babcock Street. But this situation, I could not let my conscience do it, along with the residents, because I'm here to support the residents of the town of Malabar. Debbie will do a roll call vote.
Was there a motion?
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm bad. I'll entertain.
I'll move to override the veto.
I'll second it. Roll call vote.
Okay. Councilmember Ball,
I must abstain.
Councilmember Vale,
No.
Councilmember Rivet,
Aye.
Councilmember Corn,
No.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
Hold on.
Let's keep it. It was.
Motion failed, veto stands, ordinance 2019-08 is ineffective.
Okay, all right, we're going to move on to number 11. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, I have it here. I would like to excuse the lawyer who has a family situation that he should be addressing.
I need to go to the hospital, not for me, but for a family member, so. I was actually there before I came here, so.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Good night.
All right, we're going to move to item 11B, council duties and conduct. Agenda request from Richard Kovac. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Here, there are a couple of other people.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Just a second. Give us the gist of what you're doing.
The gist is that in the conduct of certain council members and people that are associated with the town government of Alabama.
Okay, I'll bring up Laura Mahoney. You got 5 minutes.
Laura Mahoney, 2475 Alva Road. I ran out of toner, so I only have 2 pieces. Okay. Office forfeiture, I'd like a hearing set for CM Corn according to their town charter, Part 1, Article 2, Town Council Section 2.08 D and E. D, given a public hearing concerning any change or any charge which may result in censure of forfeiture of office on a hearing set for CM Corn. E, if an elected official has violated any standard of conduct or code of ethics, Title X, Chapter 112, Part 3, established by law for public officials, the town's council, after public hearing, may vote to censure that elected official with a minimum of 3 votes being for censure. Thank you.
All right, Don Danielson,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I would like to speak after Mr. Kovac.
you come first if you get a card. Thank you.
Don Danielson, Hall Road, Malaga. There was an incident in the last meeting that some of you laughed at, and some of you are going to say I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. But I would like to read to you Title 46, Chapter 784.03, battery. Actually and intentionally touches or strikes another person against the will of the other. Strike means hit with a hand or an object. It wasn't a laughing matter. It was battery. I will go on further to 784-08, assault or battery on persons 65 years of age or older, reclassification of offenses. 2C, in the case of battery, from a misdemeanor of the 1st degree to a felony of the 3rd degree. I was battered in this meeting by a town councilman. He should be removed from council immediately. Thank you.
It pains me greatly to say what I'm about to say, but for the sake of the town of Malabar, it begs to be said. Councilmembers Corn, Rivet, and White, I request that you extend to all speakers the courtesy of the same proper level of attention that we extend to you. Instead of looking around the room, the walls, the ceiling, your laptops, and giving the impression of utter indifference to what they have to say, as has been observed many times.